episode 109, and welcome into the Benches Cleared podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the recently sweepage winners. I don't know how to say it. We swept the Dodgers, okay, of the San Francisco Giants, who went 5-1 last week.
God, you worded that so terribly.
So terrible. I was too excited.
I'm Tyler Coe, representing the Los Angeles Dodgers, who went 2-3, but are on a 2-game winning streak, and that's what we're going to focus on. We also just 2-game sweep of the Angels. Yes, that is a sweep. 2 games.
Yeah, sorry, I got too eager.
Count
I was just
it.
like, I'm just going to ride. I'm going to let it speak from the heart. And then it turns out my heart was like, I don't know. I got nothing. So that was tight. But we're going to get into this week, and I feel like maybe we should just – I know the Dodgers series happened before, but I'm going to gloss over this Royals series so we can both talk about each game, and we can just be very excited on how it happened. But Giants just got off this 3-gamer at home against the Royals. In game 1, Wood went 6 innings, striking out 5 with 80 pitches. I don't understand. Let Wood pitch. You know what I'm saying? Just let him freaking pitch. Luis Gonzalez is the fucking man. Rookie of the year, gets snubbed on the list all day. And also, B-Cross started to get hot in the Royals series. Don't let him get hot. Don't let him stay hot or else you're fucked. Okay? Game 2, Webb throws a gem, going 7 innings and 9 Ks with no runs. Then in game 3, I fucking hate bullpen games, but I mostly hate costly errors. We're going to get into the defense a little bit later, but they can't capitalize on the Royals' gifts either. Royals gave them a bunch of gifts. They couldn't get anything going. But Belt comes back from the IL and hits a fucking bomb. And forget about interleague. No one cares about 2014 World Series rematch, which the Giants won. We're going to talk about some Giants-Dodgers, Tyler. And the sweepage happened. I don't know if you just want to chime in or we can go back and forth, whatever you want to do. I'm going to let it feel out. But in game 1, Ruff hits.
Did it happen? I don't remember.
2 bombs.
I don't really remember.
2 of them. Who let the dogs out? You can do rough, or rough just like the way your mother likes it, Trebek. However you want to do it, whatever. He hits 2 ding-dongs after coming back from the bereavement list. Is that how you say it? And then Jacob Junis is probably the best pitcher in our lifetime, but goes down to the IL, Tyler. And then in game 2, I fucking hate bullpen games. I will say it a million times. I hate bullpen games, but Tyro is still my fucking gyro. I know you love it when I say that. It starts to hit out.
I really don't.
Bomber. And then in game 3, apparently this is insane because I keep on hearing different things, but Carlos Rodon's arm is still intact, and he dropped the dick on the Dodgers, going 6 innings and 8 Ks. Obviously,
whatever. We dropped dick on him last time.
I don't remember
that.
At
Dodger Stadium.
I don't think that happened.
Well, we beat him, so
I don't think
that's dropping dick. First of all, I feel like you're glossing over a couple things, okay? Game 1. Walker Buehler. We all knew something wasn't right.
Right.
And all of that finally came to the forefront. Our boy's hurt, and that hurts me. And he's been pitching like he's hurt all season.
If you're a bird,
so
I'm a bird.
game 1's a wash. Doesn't even count because you're hitting off a wounded duck. So that doesn't count.
It does count.
Walker, he's going to be gone in probably 3 months. They just did they removed a bone spur, which has nothing to do with his elbow. So looks like he's avoiding TJ, which is a huge plus.
Yeah,
that is nice.
That was a serious possibility. So I think that's kind of a win.
And it still could be, because I feel like, if he does physical therapy for a while and nothing's improving, TJ is probably on the table.
They did that with Cueto in 2019, I think it was, or 2018, where it was like, oh, they're just going to rehab it and everything's going to be okay. And then he ended up needing to do Tommy John the next year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I forget who it was, but someone else around the league just got TJ. And it wasn't that he tore his UCL. It's so stretched out that it can't go back. It can't expand and detract. So anyways, we'll get into yes, that's right.
Yeah.
We'll get into why I'm not worried that Walker went down in just a few minutes. Big thing for the Dodgers. I guess it was game 1. A lot of guys left on base, and it was not cool. Dude, the Dodgers, it's just crazy, man. Mookie Betts in May, player of the month, in my opinion. And then as soon as the calendar turned to June, he fell off a cliff. Like an absolute cliff.
Right.
Freddie hasn't been hitting. The only guy in the top three, I mean, Trey Turner's been hitting pretty well. But dude, Freddie went silent, in the Giants series. I don't know what it was exactly, but they were like a combined batting under like 150 for the series. But game one, 13 guys left on base. So that's a fair amount of guys left on base.
Yeah, and game two, I think, is the one where the base is loaded, no outs, because that was actually the day of a baby shower. My best friend's Chris Paul just having another baby. We have a baby shower for on Saturday, so I was watching the game with a bunch of Dodger fans, and they were up by, I think, just one at the time, maybe two at the time. And then it was bases loaded, no outs, and I was like, "Fuck!" And everyone was just staring at me. So I guess how many? Guess how many?
Okay, guess how many guys the Dodgers left on base? Game two.
Game two. If game one was 13, and I know
you're not even going to be close.
At least had 4. I'm gonna say you're saying it might be more. I'm gonna go 15.
33.
No fucking way.
33.
I almost want to stop this to see if that's some sort of record, but we're gonna
guess how many. Guess how many the Giants had left on base for Saturday.
I don't know how many.
21.
21.
54 guys were left on base.
Jeez.
And that's why the game was 3-2.
Right. Well, it's just
and you know what pisses me off the most? I've said this a million times, and everyone agrees. It's like one of the most irritating things in baseball. Dodgers out hit the Giants 13-5, and they lose the game.
Mm-hmm. That's because
it's so goddamn frustrating.
Just being my gyro.
Yeah, your guy. I get it. Yeah, super frustrating. I mean, game two.
Yes. You're very famous.
Kershaw comes back, and he threw okay. We all knew he was going to be on a pitch count.
Right.
No one was expecting the world from him, and he pitched pretty well. And the bullpen came in and cleaned up pretty well, surprisingly, for once. It's been a rough patch for them. So game two is definitely a heartbreaker. And then game three was just a snoozer.
Well, Carlos Rodon was pretty entertaining to me.
Okay, yeah, winning 2-0 is a lot different than losing 2-0.
Exactly. Right.
Okay. And I mean, Julio pitched okay. I mean, dude, he had 10 punch-outs in 6 innings, but he gave up 2. Bullpen looked solid after.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 2 games that easily could have went the other way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as bad as it feels or seems.
Gotcha.
After game 1, that was bad. That was a horrible game.
Right.
But after game 2 and 3, I mean, there was some promise. And then kind of carrying into the Angels series, I think it's going to be okay. It's not time to hit the panic button. Things are going to be okay.
I think you should panic. Sell everyone. Just cut your losses. Start the rebuilding process now. I think it'll be good.
No, I don't think so. I think they moved on. They moved on quickly. You know, Dave Roberts was very vocal about how he doesn't think the team is performing, and they're not. And then they picked it up on Tuesday, and they looked pretty good, except for Craig Kimbrell. Holy God. He comes in on Tuesday and gets the bases loaded, up 2-0, and then he gets out of it.
Right.
Great. That's all well and good.
Great.
And then you bring him in after Tyler Anderson's gem, which we'll get to in just a second. And dude, he just gives up hard contact. Dude, he's done. There's no fucking way this guy can go the whole season as our closer. There's no way. And Brewstar, I think, would be maybe the next. I mean, Daniel Hudson's going to be the next guy in line.
How far is Trinan away?
September.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I know.
Blake Trinan's not coming back till hopefully September.
But it's almost like they should just trade for somebody now. Like, why wait?
I know, but that's what I'm saying is I think they're going to wait, and they might need a starter more than anything, because who knows how long our 2 aces can go. And let's get into those two aces. Just like we drew it up at the beginning of the season, two guys tied for the National League lead in wins, Tony Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson, both 8-0. Tony Gonsolin, MLB leader in ERA, by the way.
Does he qualify for it?
He does. Let me check, because
Joe
Musgrove,
if he qualified for it or not. But
Joe Musgrove did pitch today, so let's.
Well, while you're checking on that, I will say Tyler Anderson was someone that I really liked when he was on the Giants in 2019. He had like a couple of complete games. He has days where when he is on, he's very good, but there's just a lot of times where he's not on. So yeah, I think that's the problem with Anderson.
Dude,
but
his changeup is sick.
Yeah, and his little leg
nasty.
I like him, and like he was a fiery dude, and I wanted them to sign him back, but they went to the Pirates.
So Joe Musgrove gave up 2 runs over 7 innings, so his ERA went up. Tony Gonsolin, 1.42 qualifying. He has enough innings. Okay. Qualifying. Dude, they're both Tyler Anderson 8-0, takes a no into the 9th. Goes 8 1/3, no hit innings. Yeah, and it's funny because when Mookie and Belly kind of crashed into each other and dropped that ball, and they initially called it a hit, Joe Davis is like, well, in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter unless he starts throwing a no-hitter. And then, by the grace of God, he does. But that shouldn't have even been an error. That was an out. Mookie caught the ball and then lost it when he rolled over to transfer it. So it would have been really interesting, if he would have made it on second base, if they would have called it a single and then an error. But it ends up not mattering. I mean, Tyler Anderson still pitched an incredible game. Right. He looked great. Kudos to Doc for letting him actually go out there and pitch and not coming out in the 9th inning and being like, we need to preserve you for the season or whatever.
Yeah, I think that he has like the leeway for that.
Yeah.
Which is good,
Yeah. And then, Shohei hits that ball, hard hit ball, triple, doesn't feel as bad. It would have been a lot worse if it was like a little dribbler up the third base line, like an off-balance play, and he beats out the throw. So, at the end of the day, dude, Gonsolin and Anderson leading the way. Tony Gonsolin, your future All-Star Game starter, obviously.
Okay.
Who else would start? Who else?
I don't know. Anybody
exactly.
else?
Shut your mouth. And Tyler Anderson probably takes the second inning just because. They're going to be dual starters. Dude, it's crazy to think.
Oh, no, he's not. I'm stupid. It's Brian Snitker. But, yeah, maybe if David Roberts was managing this year, he'd put him in. But
Gonsolin's going to be the starter. It's just crazy, dude, how we talked about at the beginning of the year. Like, yeah, you're going to have Tony Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson maybe piggybacking one another. Like Gonsolin starting, going 3 or 4, and then Anderson coming in. And Tyler Anderson didn't become a full-fledged starter until Andrew Heaney went down after 2 starts. So he's even behind on starts, and he's tied for the league lead in wins. So Dodgers, 2 aces, Tony Gonsolin, Andrew Heaney, or Tyler Anderson, just like we drew it up. Andrew Heaney potentially coming back this weekend and going to be the 3rd ace. It's going to be great. I love it.
Yeah, they do need some help in that department. I mean, come on. We talk. I think it's time before we get into around the league stuff that I need to get into my little different stud and dud of the week. We make our own rules here. I know it's supposed to be a person, but I decided to go with 2 because the thing is I'm not going to get there's guys who don't have a good batting average for the week. There's guys that, maybe struck out a lot, but made a lot of good plays on the field. Luis Gonzalez, gunning a couple guys down this week. You got, Brandon Crawford, hitting, having some big hits, but also maybe costing a game possibly. So I think something needs to be talked about. My stud right now is going to be the Giants bullpen at the moment. I mean, they started off really shitty. That was their strength last year. Really was scuffling at the beginning of the year, but this last week, this Giants bullpen went 29 innings, 20 Ks, and only 3 earned runs, stranding a bunch of base runners like we talked about, especially in that Dodger series, which was fucking huge. So they deserve the gold star. Stud of the week. Congratulations. It's the Giants bullpen and the dud pretty much of the year, which I think, is a huge difference on how the season has gone for the Giants, has been the Giants defense. We talked about how it was literally the worst. It has been getting better. Now they are 28th in baseball with negative 21 defensive runs.
Moving up a little bit.
Moving up in the world. See, we got 1 yard, but it is getting better. And I guess the question is, do we think it's going to get better, or because if you look at the rosters from last year, this year, defensive wise, it's not that different. They had Darren Ruff in left field last year. Crawford has not been what he has been in the past, but do you think he's going to be, comparable to what he was last year? Maybe not as bad as he's been this year. Like, where is he going to be all year? Tyro, for some reason, the defensive metrics fucking hate him. But the eye test, he looks good, but he has kicked the ball a couple times in costly situations. So I think it's a situation of you let them work it out, and they're going to get better. But right now, have to be the dud. Definitely the season, but they for sure lost the game today. With it could have been a full sweep, but this defense lost that one game. So, dud of the week, the Giants defense. Bada bing, bada boom. What you gonna do?
Yeah, for the Dodgers stud and dud of the week. Do I need to even say it? Studs: Tony Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson, the 2 best pitchers in, dare I say, all of baseball.
You're not just going to give us
I do dare say that.
No hitter until the 9th.
I got to give it to my boy Goose too, bro. A 1.42 ERA, baby. Come on.
I remember I saw him in a spring training
that.
game that when I went out there one time I went to spring training. I'd never heard of this dude before in my life. And I know it was spring training, but he was just cutting people up so heavy that like it was like alarming, because especially I'd never heard of this fucking dude. So it makes sense. He's never really been bad. He's just been hurt a lot. So
yeah,
I guess
he came up in 19, pitched in 20, 21. Through those 3 years, he has 10 wins. He has 8 wins this season already. Mm-hmm. He's doing big things. But dude, his career ERA 2.41.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, he's pretty goddamn good, and he's under team control for like 6 more years, so he's not going anywhere.
Team control forever.
Yeah, we got him. And dude, for the dud, Mookie Betts. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. 2 for his last 30 in the last week. He had that home run that didn't really end up mattering, but dude, he's not looking good at the plate. 7 strikeouts across those 30 at bats, and he's just not putting good wood on the ball. But Mookie's a professional. He'll get back on it. I'm not too worried about it. But
get back on the wood.
I can only beat up Max Muncy for so long. Like I can't just give it to him every week. Or Cody Bellinger.
Right.
Dude,
you got to switch it up every once in a while.
It's going to be really interesting. Cody Bellinger, has 1 more year of arbitration. We'll see what happens next year, but certainly a free agent. There's no way the Dodgers are going to re-sign him unless they settle before arbitration next year and he does amazing. But, maybe we go after Shohei after next year, because Shohei wants to win. He wants to win. Where would he go to win, Jesse? I'll tell you where.
Giants, who have
think about
who
it.
have room,
think about this.
Who might be in play for
okay,
Aaron
shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth. Does he
That's
have
a
to
rumor.
move? No. He still lives in Southern California. Everything would stay the same except he'd play for a winning team. It makes sense. It's perfect. It's gonna happen. You heard it here first.
Heard of her.
Shohei to the Dodgers.
Over her.
2024.
That sounds good. Real dumb. But before we get into this around the league stuff, we have something that I guess would be technically like what a topic that should be around the league, but it's both. We have 2 of them that are one that's both of our team and one that's just just the Dodgers. So maybe we'll talk about the both first. The Giants and Dodgers had a combined Pride Night at Oracle Park where they were both wearing Pride hats. I guess it's the first time in history where both teams are doing it. I never really noticed that, but it's crazy the fact that the Giants or the Dodgers players didn't catch the gay by wearing the hats like the Rays players were scared of doing. So
yes,
I know that's been it's kind of some weird stuff going around, right? Like there's the Rays thing where they don't want to wear a pride hat. Like I don't understand. Like I don't understand what you're so worried about. And then also on the telecast, it was telecast by Fox, and they made it seem like the person who threw out the first pitch was a NASCAR driver who threw out the first pitch at Oracle Park during the Rockies series, like 2 days before. And they didn't show Amy. Oh, I forgot her last name, but she's like a Jeopardy, like the GOAT, the championship. I don't know if she beat Ken Burns' record or she's like coming up on it. Not a big Jeopardy guy.
My boy James is the GOAT. Okay, my boy James.
Who's James?
People understand this reference if they watch Jeopardy.
Okay, I don't watch Jeopardy.
He was the best Jeopardy player ever.
Listen, this ain't a Jeopardy podcast. I don't got the numbers on Jeopardy. You got me.
All in. It's James. Okay. He's the best. But yes, to Amy's credit, she has had an incredible run. But that's just weird to me because if you wanted to do the exact opposite, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But if you're like, if it's Pride Night and you're having a transgender person throw out the first pitch, the exact opposite would be a NASCAR driver. So that just doesn't really compute how they could get that confused. Like no one's going to be like NASCAR and Pride. You don't associate those things together.
Right. Yeah.
Because they don't go together. It's like oil and water.
Flag, so yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I get that the argument on the other side is that Fox owns NASCAR. So they were just trying to promote their products, and that's I get dumb. That makes sense. The thing is most of the time they don't show the first pitch at a lot of telecasts. So if you just would have said, "Hey, 3 days ago," or NASCAR, made it more about NASCAR and not made it seem like he threw out the first pitch that day, I don't think anyone would be weird about it and you clarify what's going on. But they didn't clarify, and it was just a little weird, especially because it's Fox. But,
it's kind of diminishing the the event of Pride Night.
Yeah, and if it's the first, I know it sounds so stupid because it's like the first time in history, like just because two teams are wearing a hat, like both teams are wearing hats, but like I don't know, I feel like that's more.
It's the first time, the first of anything is a big deal.
I get what I'm just saying that it's crazy. That's history. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
but like I'm just saying, like more. You think that you would, I don't know, mention that in the telecast and not, hey, NASCAR is great and watching it. And like, no one gives a fuck about NASCAR.
Do you want to see them drive around in circles again this weekend? Because they are. It's interesting. And the biggest thing about the Pride Night that bums me out, why can't I buy one of those hats? I want one of those goddamn hats. Dude, first of all, you can make a buttload of money. Second of all, you donate like half of it to charity. Everyone wants one. Right. Why the fuck would you not make them widely available? I don't understand.
That's crazy that they're not. I feel like I almost like hearing that makes me think that just you're looking in the wrong place.
No,
obviously,
dude,
you know how to use
I swear to God, so. I've looked everywhere. They're not available. It's probably because like the 5 Rays players were like, oh no, Jesus will like shoot us down or with his space lasers or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's hard for me to understand, obviously, because I'm not religious, and not to get into this because I know our podcast is about baseball. But like, as someone, It's weird to me because you are
right,
and it's like there's just like that excuse of like, well, Jesus, and it's like that doesn't play anymore though. So come up with something better.
And like I said, we're not going to get the whole religious thing, but I just don't understand what the problem. Like you also wear, logos and stuff of unethical companies. Like that's a lot more better of a stance than being like, and not only that, like you're not saying you're not catching the gay if you wear a hat. Like you're just saying, hey, these people have been not treated fairly and they should be treated fairly. And not only that, you're also being like, hey, we welcome you into this game that we're trying to grow. because, in the past, this group of people has not been exactly welcomed into the baseball community. So it's trying to just make people feel comfortable. So you're just kind of being a dick.
Yeah. Big shout out to Liam Hendricks. He is a big supporter of Pride Night. Really, I saw something he was saying that was kind of a stipulation on him signing wherever he was going. He was talking to the White Sox specifically and asked them if they had a Pride Night. Also talk shit about those 5 Rays pitchers. So big fan of Liam Hendricks. Cool guy. Big
guy, fan. Yeah. Hopefully he can get out of Chicago. Hey, Giants need some bullpen help. Yeah, I'm saying
the Dodgers need a closer. Why don't they ship Craig Kimbrell back to Chicago?
Maybe the Dodgers just bring over like I'm sure there's paperwork in a trade and just like X out, Craig Kimbrell's name and put Liam Hendricks. But no, actually we said Liam Hendricks, so technically it was Liam Hendricks. So that.
Yeah, we just found this out. So yeah, yep, it's a bummer, but whatever.
Yeah. In other words, don't be a douche.
But I would kill for Kenley right now.
Right. Don't be a douche.
And Kenley,
hats.
Come back.
Also, that's happened technically in the around the league thing, but I think it's we got to talk about it. That whole Mike Trout's just causing a lot of problems. Okay. He doesn't know how to run a football fantasy league. And he's also trying to stab umpires in the eye. That is literally like, you have this like small fear in certain things, like, for me, it would be like escalators that like, if you don't get your foot off in the right time, like the escalator is just going to eat you. Like, I feel like that's the same, like just that one space, like he almost got Nacho Libre to the eye with a baseball bat. That's insane.
Yeah. I think it's funny, like in slow-mo, cause obviously when it happens, it's so quick, right? But that like, he checks on Will Smith in that split second, and the umpire is just like, and he's like, "Oh, Will, you good?" That's crazy, dude. Like,
right?
I've been on the mound before when like a wood bat breaks, and obviously not at the force of a major league player. That shit is terrifying. And it's probably coming like 40 miles an hour, and I'm like, oh,
right.
But no, it's super scary. And it's just one of those things, dude. It's like that goalie for the Sabres who got his throat slit with the skate. It's just one of those things.
That's insane.
Because I was thinking there was that umpire that got it kind of in the throat, and that's why they have those guards that kind of hang off the chin. So now I'm assuming they're going to be wearing like face shields like football players do. Why not?
Yeah, I think I would. That would make sense that there's a even though it's a small percentage. How many baseball games, how many pitches, how many swings have happened? This is the first time it's ever happened like that. That I can recall at least. But at the same time, put a friggin' like little visor thing on it.
Yeah, it's not worth.
It wouldn't hurt.
I wouldn't be. It wouldn't be worth losing my eye over if it were me.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
but
not worth it, son. And the last thing we got to talk about around the league, Tyler. There's some issues going on in this world where a random company I've never heard of can just, I don't know, partner with MLB and try to charge $1,000 for some holy jerseys. This is the most insane. Like the jersey's not even cool. It's literally just pretty much the Dodger thing with some quotation. Well, it's every team
with a hole in it.
Quotation, is that their thing? Like I've literally never heard this coming before in my life. Is like the quotation thing like their thing?
I don't know. As a man who likes expensive clothes, this $500 T-shirt from Target that I copped, obviously.
No big deal. We get paid here,
dude. I don't get it. Like the hat looks like Swiss cheese,
right?
Like, is that the thing? Like, oh, I look poor, and that's cool, but like people know I'm not poor because it costs $1,000. Like, I don't get it.
Feel like we're becoming like the old angry guys that make fun of kids for wearing the shirt.
I don't think so, dude.
Like, I feel
because
like we're not.
Who is that for?
But the way
baseball fan
sound, like the way that I saw on Twitter.
Okay, but Jesse,
let me have like my dog bite your hat. Like the same things that they would say, and I understand because I agree with you. But what I am saying is like, but I'm also hearing us talk, and I'm like,
I know, but ask yourself, who is that for? Who do you know that would be like, oh yeah? Because an authentic MLB jersey is already expensive enough at like $300 a pop or whatever.
Insane.
And I buy replica jerseys, obviously, like the
Right.
cool base ones for $150. Who's gonna be like, oh yeah, $1,000 and it looks uglier than shit? Yeah, that's for me. Like, what real fan is gonna wear that?
Quotation marks, gotta have it.
Yeah, like
The only people
I
I
don't
can
know.
imagine, like I legitimately am interested on the sales of them, like because I'm sure you're gonna see them around by, people that maybe some people on MLB Network, maybe they're just trying to like push it, like there's that new show where it's kind of like younger people and it's like supposed to be hip and cool or whatever. Maybe they'll have them
doing
wear it.
TikTok dances, like
Right, like I don't know, like they're gonna have to try to push it. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine any person wanting that and paying that much money for it. Even if if I had a kid and that was the only thing they wanted, there's no way I cannot spend $1,000 on a jersey that wasn't like authenticated, signed. Even then, I would spend $1,000. You got me fucked up. Like,
dude, that would have to be like Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, Clayton Kershaw all signed it.
Yeah, like if it's like a 2010, I don't know, Bruce Bochy World Series, he signed it with with like
the roster,
the main dudes signing it too. And still $1,000 is like I can't
steep.
do that.
But also dude, I think you know what I'm gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I already figured it out.
Hit it.
Figured it out. I'm gonna buy a jersey and I'm gonna cut holes out for the nipples and one for the belly button and just wear that and like set the trend. You want to spend $1,000 on a jersey or cut your own holes in better places that are more promiscuous? That'll get you laid for a lot cheaper.
Or maybe we just need to take the advice from a legendary, film and just have Regina George wear it, and then everyone will want to wear it.
Never seen that movie.
You know what movie I'm talking about, so you do know. I know the movie.
So you have seen the movie. No, I haven't. I know what you're talking about, but I haven't. Last thing around the league. Last thing around the league. The Braves have won 14 straight. We don't really need to go into it. Good for them. It doesn't matter. But also, Dodgers are off today because we're recording on Thursday. Padres won. They swept the Cubs. Padres have sole possession of first place. That sucks for both of us. There's rarely things
who won't be back for a while.
Yeah, there's rarely things we can agree on, but I think we both agree the Padres in first place. It's bad for baseball. No one likes it.
No one likes it.
No one likes it. It's horrible. I hate it. Whatever. Joe Musgrove not going to start the All-Star game. Fuck him.
I just don't understand how. I mean, I don't understand how they're winning so much. I guess you could say same thing about the Giants last year, but I don't know. It's just I'm still not like. I'm more worried about Atlanta going into Atlanta next week than I am to play the Padres again. Even though the Padres just swept the Giants, I'm even feeling better about it because I feel like, they already swept them. They're, I feel like they're due to get their ass beat. So,
yeah, but Atlanta's due to lose because they've won 14 in a row. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. That's who you guys got coming up next week.
Yeah,
Dodgers have Cleveland.
We're going on the road. 3 in Pittsburgh, starting off. Going Rodon, Wood, and Cobb is supposed to be returning on the third day in Pittsburgh, and then it's 4 in Atlanta. It's Webb, possibly Disco returning on game 2, so technically the full force of the Giants rotation might be back, even though he'll probably have a pitching limit. And then what's going to happen when Jacob Junis comes back? Because he's been probably like the best starter, so you 6-man piggyback. I don't know. We'll think about it for another time. And then it's another Wood and Rodon starts after that. I am going for, because how good everyone is playing right now, because the thing is the Phillies got back in the conversation. Obviously, Atlanta got back in the conversation, and they have one of the playoff spots. Giants need to keep going on this pace. They started to take off this last week, obviously 5-1. And even last week, they still had a winning record. So they need to stay on this pace. They need to get going. And they need to win. I'm going to say, fuck it. Would it be a 5-2 week? I'm going to go 5-2 week next week for the San Francisco Giants.
Okay. Good luck. I don't know if you know this. The Pittsburgh Pirates are the best team in baseball apparently, at least when they play the Dodgers.
I'm not talking shit about the Pirates. They beat the shit out of us last year. They set the Dodgers. I'm not saying who they're playing. Who they're going to win against, but
yeah,
maybe the Braves Dodgers just have won 3. So many, they're going to run out of wins. So that's what I'm hoping for.
That's what I'm saying. Dodgers have 3 with Cleveland. You're going to see Clayton Kershaw starting on Friday, which is going to be sick. Then you're going to see Andrew Heaney potentially starting on Sunday, which would be sick, seeing him come back. I think they're going to win 2 out of 3 against Cleveland. I think Bieber's pitching. I know Plesac's pitching on Friday, and I think it's up in the air on Sunday. But you missed Tristan McKenzie, who pitched today on Thursday, so I'm happy about that. And then they're going to Cincinnati, where I think they're going to sweep. Cincinnati's not good, and the Dodgers always play well at Great American Ballpark. So I'm calling a 5 and no, sorry, that's it's only I'm going to say 5-1. I'm calling a 5-1 week. The Dodgers get back on the horse. They saddle up and ride, and things are going to look okay. And then they're going into Atlanta after that, but we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah,
the Dodgers,
boys, we're tearing it down.
They're going to be all right. Padres are going to fall off eventually, just like we all know they will.
Big facts.
And then we're going to go from there.
I'm going to redo my start today. I'm going to redo my prediction because here's the thing. We didn't record
You're
last
scared.
week. A lot of things happened in Tyler's life. I don't think he could stand anything, so we skipped last week, unfortunately, but we are back. But I was going to be super depressed on a couple of things that I talked to with friends, and I think in a couple of groups. I was like, dude, the Dodgers are going to sweep the Giants. They're playing like shit. I'm so over it. Whatever. And then they swept the Dodgers, and I was like, oh, this is kind of working. And then I said, fuck it. I'm going to say it again. The Royals are going to sweep the Giants, and they won the series. So what I'm going to say is actually the Giants are going to go 2-5 with reverse psychology. So that's my official statement.
Okay. Well, you're an idiot. Yeah, I still stand by my boys because I always do. Okay.
Hey,
just like I always stand by Renovation Candle Company, who is sponsoring this episode. Renovation Candle Company's new slogan is, if you hit a parked car in a parking lot, don't be a douchebag and leave a note. Because some people just bought a brand new car and now they have to pay a bunch of money to fix it. And I hope you die in a car accident. Fuck you. Buy some candles and help me fix my brand new car that someone hit.
It's a really heartfelt slogan that I feel like touches a lot of people's lives in very different ways.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening and hanging with us. Make sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform as well as YouTube. Make sure to follow us on all the socials. Twitter, Benches Cleared P. Instagram, Benches Cleared Podcast. And TikTok, Benches Cleared. Thank you so much, and we'll be seeing you guys next week. We'll be there. We'll be here.
Wearing our jerseys with the nipples cut out.